You can see the Pugmill is no longer pushing clay out. If it does, it's going to go really, really slow. I had cut chunks off, put it in a bag. This needle's going to start bouncing again because the compressor, there's air through here now because there's no more clay. So I'm going to switch it to stop, turn it off. All right, I'm going to come over here and flip this switch. Hear the air and the pressure drops. Okay, open it back up. Notice, yes, there's still clay, but there's a lot of empty space in there. That's where we're going to start adding more clay. So I usually scrape down the machine, get all that clay that might have squeezed out of there, and put it back in the machine. Now, plastic one here is flexible. It works great, this spatula, but it also can be broken, so it has to be taken with care. If you need to get in smaller areas that this one is too big for, we do have a metal one, but metal rusts. So make sure that you clean it off between uses so we don't have a rusty mess in our clay. Okay, so again, I can either take this clay or that clay and put it back in my machine. If I use completely dry clay, I'm going to need a lot of water. Okay, so I'll do some of that so you can see. I'm going to add some water. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to start grabbing some pieces of clay. And then I'm going to close the lid. I'm going to flip this to reverse. It will run without this up. When I'm loading and unloading, I usually, not unloading, when I continue to load, I usually leave it on reverse because it does automatically shut off, but just remember, never put your hand in there. You can also mix the clay. You can use some of the dry and some of the wet. Really doesn't matter. We're just working on getting the consistency of the clay to a nice, palatable consistency. When you're hand building and you need a stronger structure, you might have it a little firmer, less water to it. On the potter's wheels, I always start you guys with a little bit softer clay, so I add a little bit more water to it so that you can easily center. Otherwise, it takes forever to center clay as new beginners. And there you have it. That's basically how we recycle the clay in the art room. I will be going through all of this clay and that clay and all of that 30-year-old clay and trying to recycle as much as I can. We do have red clay, but you'll have to recycle that by hand because if we put it through the Pug machine, everything that came out would be red, pink, and whatever color for the rest of the time, unless I took it apart and thoroughly cleaned it, which I don't like doing. So if you want to use red clay, you'll have to recycle that by hand.